Jed Coburnus here with the Exercise Physiology Show, where I help you change your mind, change your body, and change your spirit. Basically, it all comes down to this. It comes down to food, it comes down to belief in oneself, and it comes down to movement. Okay? It's as simple or as complicated as you want to make it. I'm an exercise physiologist. I was a former fat kid. It sucked, right? It just sucked. I didn't want to do it anymore. So my dad tricked me into getting a job, and I lost 50 pounds that summer, and it was friggin' awesome. You know, he wouldn't take any credit for that, but you know, my parents were good people. They still are good people. Love them. So yeah, anyway, back to the present, right? Found this awesome article. Since nobody's gonna ask questions, that's all right. I just gotta think about, well, maybe, you know, what you guys are thinking about. Found this awesome article though. It is 5 steps to take control of food addiction. Okay, so an addiction itself doesn't have to be, you know, substance like drugs and alcohol. It can be food, but from my understanding and from what they're saying, is that it doesn't have to be like the food isn't like it doesn't have addictive traits. So here's the steering wheel. It is actually the psychological habits that form the addiction with it. Okay, so that's basically what they're saying, is the addiction, the food is not the problem. It's the habits that are being formed while you're consuming the food or right before you consume the food. Okay? So your behaviors, and it starts as children, right? It starts when treats, like, you know, if you give your child, well, if you do this, right, I'll give you a treat. That's where it forms. So early childhood is when all of this begins. So I mean, we've got to be careful with that by saying, if you do this, you get a treat, because then that elicits good behavior, good or bad behavior with food, right? It can be the coping mechanism for your emotions. The emotions like anxiety, stress, grief, you know, and all of those alike. The body becomes basically conditioned to crave these foods for a process of relief. So that camera likes to just go out of focus, but whatever, right? Full deal. A lot of people also associate pleasure with foods that are high in fat, sugar, and salt. It's, you know, basically what it's saying is, as innocent as it is, this, you know, again, it starts at a very young age, and it actually poses the question, you know, is this why? Or how is this? It is. It's the question of, how do I say it? Is this how our bodies get conditioned to, you know, to react this way? Could be. So the next part of it says the slippery slope of food addiction. It says someone just doesn't decide that he or she wants to feel out of control with food. There are definitely signs and symptoms to look out for, or traits, right? So changes in mood, labeling food as good or bad, restrictive dieting, eating in secret or sneaking food. Be careful with that one. Feeling out of control with food, rewarding treating yourself with food. Thinking about food all the time, feeling unsatisfied even after meals, weight fluctuations and or difficulty managing weight, body dissatisfaction, feeling disgusted, guilty, or upset after eating, feeling stress or tension that is only relieved by eating. Okay, those are the signs and symptoms. You know, it also says it's very early in the research around food addiction, but there's some pretty good evidence on habits and habitual changes that a person can be doing. That's kind of the next part is, you know, the 5 steps. They give you 5 steps here, which is, number 1 is develop a healthy relationship with food. Okay, so this article tells about the traditional 12-step program within drugs and alcohol, drug addicts, alcoholics, substance abuse, abstinence is key. But it's just not possible because, food, we need food in life, right? We absolutely need food. So we can't abstain from food, not possible. So instead, we create a healthy relationship with food. Basically by creating healthy habits. Number 2 is to set boundaries with unsafe food. Typically, trigger or unsafe foods are removed from the diet. Basically because if they're in the house, you're gonna eat it. So you gotta, clear that pantry out, clear that freezer out, clear that, wherever your trigger foods are, get them out of the house as soon as possible. Basically, why? Because really, if you're like, well, I'm gonna waste that food. Well, the food is gonna be wasted, but it's just gonna damage your body first. Okay? Go to your local food pantry, deliver, donate there if that makes you feel better, but really, get rid of it. Okay? Number 3 is follow a structured meal plan. Basically, you're so far out of control. Like, usually I don't support meal plans, but when you're that far out of control, you gotta get on something, right? You have to get on something. There are free resources everywhere. A really good resource I just found actually is DareBee, DareBee.com, DareBee.com. They have meal plans. Man, they have structure the works. It's all free. They all run by donation. DareBee.com. Go there. It's actually a really good site, really good resource. And I am not affiliated with them, just so you know. There's no income, whatever, right? Just go there, give it a shot. Get healthy. Cripes. The meal plans, right? So you need to get a little more, so you're so far out of structure that you need to get back into structure. So I would support that. I would support this article saying follow a structured meal plan until you can get your own, life back. Learn coping strategies. Learn healthy coping strategies. Address reasons for turning to food to cope. Identify healthier coping mechanisms and strategies, so that one can begin learning healthier means to dealing with emotions. Okay, last one is seek professional help. Becoming healthy again means you may need a registered dietitian and a therapist. Therapy is not, if you go to talk therapy or, DBT, whatever, it doesn't matter what you go to. Get professional help, because you only get one life, right? If you need professional help, go for it. There are free resources if you don't want to do that, right? Whatever. It says at the end here, I like this little last part. It says recovery from food addiction is achievable. If you or a loved one is suffering, share this article, provide reassurance, and encourage him or her to find professional support. That's what it's about. So share this video right? I found this article, I think it was from MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is a pretty good organization, pretty good program. But yeah, you gotta believe in yourself, okay? And then the food addiction on top of it, how are you supposed to do all of that? I can help, right? I can help you with that. I'm not a registered dietitian, but there are free resources out there. There are good resources out there. And I think that a lot of times we think it's impossible and there's too much going on. You get to choose how you live your life. That is a powerful statement. You get to choose how you live your own life. So I guess let's call the question for today, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to, or what food is your biggest struggle? What food gives you the biggest struggle? I'm going to tell you mine. Mine would have to be ice cream. So what is your biggest struggle food? Other than that, always have to remember, if you're willing to change from the neck up, you will change from the neck down. And believe in yourself, because you gotta know that I do by now. Have a great day.